I've been talking, oh my gosh, for the last 5 minutes. Okay, let me actually go quickly over what... I forgot to turn on the mic. You see, this is a last second thing I put together, so excuse me. Yeah, I did not expect... I didn't even make a setup for this. So, I have this Pokemon... I got this from the Pokemon Center website. It's a Sword and Shield theme, this backpack. It has patches of the starter, the Galar region starters, and Pikachu. It's a pretty basic, sort of simple backpack, but because of the straps and the way the pockets are and the colors, that's sort of an adventuresome look aesthetic to it that I kind of like. Hey Hamid, quoting that infamous video I made way back when to get everyone hyped, a little overplayed, a little, in my opinion, a little cringy, but I had fun making it, and I made a lot of people enjoyed watching it, so that's all I could have hoped for out of it. Someday I'm going to go back and watch. Now, I did not expect to be making this. I threw this setup together at the last minute. And, oh, hey, Tundex! I see you hopped in for a second there. Yeah, I did not expect to be doing this. My first appointment of the day. I'm Hamid's ultimate... Oh, you know what? Let me bring up chat. Can I bring up chat? Now, where's the chat? Where's the chat box? Do I have a chat? I don't even have a chat box in here. Let me add the chat. I did not add the chat box. Add chat box. There we go. Yeah, I did not even, I'm just going to type in some gibberish to have the, okay, so we'll just put that over here. Yeah, I did not even really consider, I didn't even add in the chat box here. Yeah, so I just kind of threw this together at the last minute. My first appointment of the day canceled because I booked my appointments long before I would have had any chance to prepare for the I mean, you could expect something's going to go on in Pokemon Day, but the thing is, I don't assume. So because I don't assume, I don't get disappointed. Like for the Nintendo Direct, a lot of people had these unrealistic expectations. I didn't have any expectations. I liked the things that I was interested in. The things I wasn't, I just accepted. And like, hey, I'm not going to buy that. Now, I'm not even a big fan of Sword and Shield, but like I said, if you missed it, this is I got this Pokemon backpack thing from the Pokemon Center. It's set. I mean, I ordered it, and then it sat unopened in a box until just now. I'm like, yeah, I'm live for this. Let me open this up. So I had to go ahead, I had to create a stream number for this for my archival purposes, and set up the cam and everything. I tested the audio briefly. I just slammed my hand on the keyboard just to make something appear in chat so I can get a sense of where the chat was going to appear at. So, so hey everyone who unexpectedly showed up. Like I said, I'm only here because my appointment canceled at the last second. They didn't cancel, they rescheduled, so I'm still getting the money for it, which is the best case scenario. But I was really kind of bummed. Like, man, I would not have scheduled an appointment today if I knew they were going to do something like this. I mean, I could guess, but I'm not going to base my professional life around hunches that an event might happen. Because you never know how they're going to... Okay, so it's going to start any second now. It says premiere will begin shortly. It's slightly cut off on the layout, but it shouldn't be a problem. I've got my Pokemon. I got the 20th anniversary shirt that I just threw on, just to do something sort of themed for Pokemon Day. Because I got this shirt at Pokemon Day at Nintendo World in 20, or it might have already been Nintendo Europe by then. No, it was definitely. I think it was still a Nintendo World Store. I don't think it was remodeled into Nintendo NY yet. Back in 2016. And I tested and it's funny because the setup I have one computer with a Watch Together page, and I have that browser sourced in my broadcast software, which is on my other computer. So, so I did do a little check to make sure that, it would actually open properly. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it looks like we've got 2 minutes to go. Ooh, it's pinwheeling a bit. I'm a little scared. Let me pause and unpause my... Alright. Come on, please. Now that it's like live with the countdown and everything, it's got this Please go. You know what? What if I... What if I just typed in... I'm gonna try to just do it directly. UK Pokemon Presents... Okay, now I'm just getting... Pokemon... Official Pokemon... I'm just going to official Pokemon YouTube channel.
It's crazy.
Okay. No. Okay. Copy link location. Okay. An error occurred. Alright. No. Okay, let's just try. Hold on. Copy link location. Settings for browser source. And... Oh, okay, it's working now. Okay, now we're going now. It's not working the way I planned for it to, but...
1996.
If it's too loud, let me know.
Cable. Trade.
If I need to adjust the volume, let me know. If I need to adjust the source volume,
Anime. Movie. Blue, yellow. N64
and
transfer.
this is actually my first special event live stream, which is pretty cool.
Light. Top.
I don't know. This almost seems like it's good. This seems like the kind of thing that's gonna for a bigger deal than what I could actually what I'm actually reasonably expecting right now.
Camera.
I turned the source volume down a bit. If I need to turn it up, let me know.
Print. Jet.
If I'm too loud, or if the... Just let me know if I need to turn the video volume up or down, as opposed to my... I'm gonna leave my mic volume alone. I'm gonna turn the video volume up and down if I need to.
Mobile adapter.
So they're just going through the history of... Oh yeah, there's the Pokemon...
Gaming device. Skateboard.
Yeah, I actually wanted that back in the day, and I was like, I want it, but I know it's not really a... They're
Database.
gonna be fairly rinky-dink little games, kind of.
2002.
Fire, cable, multi-battle.
I don't know, this really just seems like they're building up to something a lot bigger than what I was expecting. Because this is the kind of build-up we got before.
Wireless adapter.
Oh, hey Azurus, thanks for dropping in unexpectedly. Alright. This sounds like the sort of... This seems like the sort of build-up to like when they dropped Pokemon Sun and Moon. This is what this is reminding me of right now, actually.
2006.
Diamond Pearl.
US feeling.
Diamond and Pearl, the only mainline Pokemon games I have not played. I have played Sword and Shield for like a few hours. I really wasn't feeling it that much. I'm a bit low.
Walk together.
I turned the video, what we're watching. I turned that down a bit. Can you hear me good and the video good?
2010.
Black, white, rotation battle.
Black and white, my personal favorites. Oh, it's skipping a bit. Come on. Alright, there we go.
Movie.
That scared me for a second.
Digital gift.
Black to white to.
Community site.
For something that's... I don't know, just... yeah, and for whatever reason, they never put the Pokemon trading card game on 3DS or Switch, which is annoying. Oh my gosh, this is skipping a lot for something that's... I mean, it's acting like a lot more like a live stream than an actual just video that's up on the site.
Mega evolution. Trading card. Anime.
It's annoying when they keep... Yeah, we know, like, each generation kind of had its own anime. They're, like, going through all this stuff, and then anime, and a bunch of other stuff, then anime again, and more stuff, then anime again. It's kind of... Board game? I don't know, this presentation seems very Japan-focused. Like... Is there a language of it all? Alright, now that I turned the video volume down a bit, is my mic audio alright for those watching? Oh yeah, let me... Hey everyone, it's here? Okay. This is skipping more than I'd like it to. I don't know, it's just like the way they're hashtagging all these just seems a bit like... Alright, now it's shifted from like retro like font to like a more modern font, so I guess we're getting into more of the current stuff. Oh, I didn't know that was a thing they ever did with the... we could play with physical cards to play the Pokemon, play the trading card game. That's online. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that existed. Was Virtual Festival? I don't even... Alright, so we're probably about to get to some new stuff. Oh yeah, I flashed those Pokemon Manhole covers for a second. Those were pretty neat. Okay, we're good. I'm just paranoid because I did so little prep for this, so...
Hello everyone.
Hello Ishihara.
I'm Ishihara from the Pokemon Company.
I'm gonna turn this up a bit.
February 27th is the date Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green were released in Japan,
a bit too.
marking the beginning of the Pokemon series.
Alright, there we go.
An astounding
if I need to adjust, let me know.
25 years have passed since the Pokemon series was born. We've shared so much with you over the past 25 years, through our games, but also through so many other mediums, thanks to the support you've all shown us.
5 years ago already.
Thank you, each and every one of you. Today, Mr. Utsunomiya will introduce our latest updates.
Hello there, my name is Utsunomiya from the Pokemon Company. First, I'd like to give you the latest update on the new
I don't think
Pokemon
I've seen this
Snap
guy
game.
on video
We've
before.
put together a video that will show you some of the gameplay. Please have a look.
Excuse me, I need to blow my nose, and I don't want to do it on
Welcome to the world
camera.
of new Pokemon Snap. This is the Lentil region. You'll ride the Neo 1 through the jungle,
Alright, there we go.
across the desert,
Frankly, I don't
even
know
under
if,
the sea to research
my
Pokemon
720p
in their
webcam is
natural
enough for you to
habitats.
see something drip out of my nose, but I just don't want something
And
gross
of
like that on
course,
camera,
you
so...
won't be alone. Professor Mirror, who's doing research in the Lentil region, and research team members Rita and Phil are there to support you.
I forgot,
so
they named
you're
this
in
region
good
for the
hands.
Pokemon Snap, the Lentil region. I
Now
forgot how
then,
that's spelled,
Let's
but...
get that research started.
I mean, once again, I mean,
By watching
I know
wild
it's easy to
Pokemon,
say.
you can discover behaviors and expressions that are
I mean, it's
rarely
really easy to
seen.
say, like, oh, you know,
Look,
Pokemon Sword and Shield
surfing
should
a
have looked this
Alolan
good.
Raichu.
And it's a different kind of game.
there's
You're on
Vaporeon.
rails. You only
Let's
see
try
what they
throwing it
want
at
you to
Luckfruit.
see, so it's a lot
That's
easier
it.
to choreograph
Now's our
things.
chance.
Perhaps like baked-in lighting effects, perhaps, or baked-in shadows.
Oh, it's Tyranitar.
But
What a wild way to eat.
if Pokemon Sword and Shield, like,
Here's a
I've
park
been
at night.
basically a Nintendo-only
Let's try playing a
player,
melody.
not a Nintendo fanboy, but basically a Nintendo-only
Oh,
gamer. In
that
terms
sure
of, I'm
made
going to buy the
Hulu
system that has the
happy.
most games I want, so that's happened to have been Nintendo
You'll also
in the last
have
few generations.
Illumina
So the
orbs,
last
something the professor invented.
non-Nintendo system
If
I
you
got
use one of
was the
these,
PSP.
you can make any Pokemon glow.
So it's not, and Nintendo generally has lower spec systems.
Whoa! Those
So it's
flames
not like
changed color.
I play games for to have the most realistic, beautiful graphics technically
Make good
possible.
use of your tools
That being
to take
said,
shots
Sword and
that
Shield did
really
not look
stand out.
especially impressive.
Then,
graphically
show the
and
photos you took to the
presentation-wise.
professor.
If it looked
Oh,
more
4
like this, I
stars.
think that would be much more
We captured
suitable.
a rare moment there. Catch a variety of different behaviors on camera to fill up your Pokemon photo decks. And there's more. You'll be able to edit the photos you've taken.
I'm staying a little further from the mic. So
Use
I'm gonna turn my mic
features
up
like
a bit.
stickers and
If I'm
frames to
overpowering
make your favorite photos
mic, let me
even
know.
more special.
If I'm overpowering the...
And I'm sure you'll
the
want to
video
show off
audio.
your best photos, right? We know that feeling well. When you want to do that, it's time to go online. You can share your favorite photos
And I know
check out
there's...
photos
This is
from
the first time
around
I've
the
commentated
world.
a live
And if your
event in real
photo
time. I've
becomes
commented
popular,
on past
it might even
live
be
events that were
featured and get more
pre-recorded.
attention.
So I'm trying to
Seeing
maintain that
something
balance
like that
between
may
listening to
inspire
what
you
they're
to go
saying so I
back
actually know
and
what's
take
going
even
on,
more photos.
while actually providing
getting closer
commentary
to the
for the
start of
people
your
that
adventure.
are stopping in to watch,
Unexplored islands and
so that
plenty
it's
of
no
Pokemon
different than just
await in
watching the
Lental
actual thing
region.
with just some
So make
random
sure
guy's face
you're
in the corner.
prepared.
Decrease the video volume.
Whoa! Is that
Alright.
the mythical Pokemon Celebi?
Alright, how's that, Hamid?
Get ready! The Lental region is waiting for you!
No, I'm adjusting. No, it's the. I'm moving the volume
What did you
slider in my
think?
broadcast software
I
because.
hope you're looking forward to the
I
game's
can't re-
release on April 30th. Next,
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
you
like
have a
to tell you
specific
about
source in
several
my
events
broadcast
we're
software
holding
just
to
for the
celebrate
audio,
Pokemon
just for
Day.
the video
In
audio.
the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield games, special max raid battles featuring Gigantamax
Alright.
Pikachu are underway.
This is good. Let me know.
And in Pokemon Cafe Mix, we're holding a promotion in which you can receive 25
Yeah, that's that game that looked kind of like the presentation. Okay, great,
Pokemon
perfect.
Go,
We got it. Thanks,
Articuno,
Hamid.
Zapdos, Moltres, and even
But
Mewtwo
the
are appearing in
no,
legendary
Pokemon
raid
Cafe
battles
Mix. That was
as
a
part
really
of Kanto
comfy looking
themed
game in terms of the
celebration
theme and aesthetic of
In Pokemon
running
Masters
a
EX,
cafe with
Galar
Pokemon
Region
and like the
champion
artwork
Leon
looked cute,
and
but
his
like the
partner
gameplay
Pokemon
didn't look
Charizard
especially
will
engaging.
arrive at last.
And it looked like the gameplay was really optimized for touchscreen.
hope
So
you
even
enjoy
though I
these
believe
events.
it's out on Switch and
Next,
mobile,
I'd like to
if I
present
played
the
it on
latest
Switch,
news
I
about
could.
the Pokemon
I
video
could-
game series. Have a look
All
at
right,
this
let's
video.
hear this. But I couldn't really play it on stream with the touch, properly with the touchscreen. So. All right. All right. What you got next? All right. Looks DS. I think either Diamond and Pearl or Black and White. More likely Diamond and Pearl. Yeah, we're getting Diamond and Pearl. Hopefully it's not Let's Go based, but that's a very real possibility. If it's Let's Go based, I'm not going to be mad. But if it's Let's Go based, then I'm just not buying it. Yeah. This looks Let's Go based so far, just based on the presentation. Oh, wait. Oh, is this... Wait, these look like proper battles. They do. Yeah, this seems like a proper remake, so, like an actual more traditional style remake so far. And I never played Diamond and Pearl or Platinum, so this would be a new region for me. Okay, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Alright, no Let's Go tie-in. Late 2021? Hey, like I said, if it was Let's Go based, I wouldn't buy it, but I wouldn't be mad. It's not Let's Go based, but so I'm happy to hear that. Another story awaits. Ooh. The Pokemon series enters a new era. All right.
This is a tale from a long, long time ago. when the Sinnoh region
Impress me.
was
I'm
still
ready.
only a vast wilderness. A certain village bustled with the comings and goings of people, while in the mountains
Is this gonna be
and
like a
seas,
Pokemon Dynasty Warriors game? I know that was one thing that
roamed
was
as they
rumored.
pleased.
I'm ready for some lore on the history of the Pokemon world. I'm ready for that. Pokemon of the Wild. Don't skip on me here. Okay. This. Okay, you're skipping on me a lot. You might have to rewatch this when it's non-live, but because it's skipping a lot, unfortunately. Sorry for those of you watching it for the first time. Okay, seeing 3 stars from 3 different eras like that is a little jarring. I mean, I could get Cyndaquil, so... Is this taking place in, like, Ancient Sinnoh or something? What is this, Pokemon Wind and Pokemon Rain? Like, what are you getting at here? Yeah, the map looked like Sinnoh because it looked like the Hokkaido island of Japan. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Early 2022. Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, hey, if it's a
I'm pleased to announce
I'm
2
interested.
new
You've got my
additions to
attention.
the Pokemon video game series.
You got my attention. Oh, don't... Come on. Thanks for
Taking
bearing
place
with me, those
in
of
the
you
Sinnoh
who...
region. First, I'd like to
It's in
present
the Sinnoh
Pokemon
region, okay.
Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl games. These are faithful remakes of the Pokemon Diamond version and Pokemon Pearl version games, which were released for the Nintendo DS system in Japan 15 years ago.
Only 15 years? Feels like longer ago than that, even though that would be really weird if it was longer ago than that. 'Cause
The Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl games, remakes of the Pokemon Diamond version and Pokemon Pearl version.
I would hope
games which were
when
released
the
for
time
Nintendo
comes
DS
for
system are coming to
Unova
Nintendo
remakes that
Switch.
it's a bit more ambitious than this.
These games will be developed by Ilka Inc.,
Oh!
who also worked on
Sorry
Pokemon
about all
Home.
the skipping.
The project is being directed by Yuichi Ueda of Ilka, as well as Game Freak's Junichi Masuda, who was the director for the original Pokemon Diamond version and Pokemon Pearl version games. Your adventure will take place in the Sinnoh region, rich in nature and with towering
Yeah,
Mount
I'm
Coronet
totally
at its
fresh on
heart.
the Sinnoh region. My main exposure
It
to the
is a
Sinnoh
land
region
of
is
many
actually
myths
watching that
passed
era
down
of the anime.
through ages. The sense of scale of the original game's towns and routes has been carefully preserved, and you'll be able to travel through familiar locations once again. You'll set out on your journey after choosing either Turtwig,
Yeah, this is-
Chimchar, or Piplup as your first partner Pokemon. In these games, you can enjoy a grand adventure together with all the Pokemon.
I don't know
from
why, but I have
Pokemon
this feeling
Diamond
that the
version
Pokemon
and
Legends things, I
Pokemon
feel like
Pearl
that almost
version.
needs to be delayed.
Newcomers and previous visitors
Like,
to the Sinnoh region
I don't know, if
alike
this is coming out
can
late
look
this
forward
year,
to
have something that
experiencing
looks
the
like a pretty
original
major RPG
Pokemon
coming out so
Diamond
early
and
next year.
Pokemon Pearl stories,
Like, I
freshly
feel like that
recreated
should...
for Nintendo Switch.
Okay, when they say early 2022, that could mean like March or April potentially. Even though by April you're getting into nearly halfway through the year. But
What did you think? Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl will launch simultaneously around the world late this year. We hope you're all
Okay.
excited for a nostalgic yet fresh
I mean,
adventure
late
into
this year
Sinnoh.
could mean like October or early November. More likely, I think later November.
Next, allow me to introduce you to the Pokemon Legends
More?
Arceus game.
Okay,
Pokemon
we're gonna hear
Legends
more about
Arceus
this.
represents a new approach for the Pokemon video game series. Development
Yes,
is in
good
full
graphics,
swing Game
apparently.
Freak, with the aim to deliver a gaming experience that breaks new ground for the Pokemon series.
Yes, please.
Please have a look at this video.
Is this what you can do when you're not being rushed by the anime and the merchandising aspects, which need you to get out a new generation in X amount of time?
The events of this game unfold in the Sinnoh of old. In this time, too, Mount Coronet towers over the center of the region.
Okay.
Pokemon live freely in the wild here, but the harsh environments may be different from the Sinnoh region you remember. In this era, people have journeyed to Sinnoh from all over and founded a prosperous village in the hope of learning more about this land. As for these three Pokemon, Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott, it seems they were brought to Sinnoh by a certain professor who encountered them while traveling around various regions. You'll set off on your adventure after receiving a first partner Pokemon of your own from this
in-universe
professor.
lore as to why these mostly foreign starters ended up in this region.
With the village as your base, you'll venture out to the different corners of the
seems
region
like
on your
Dawn
quest to
and
create
whatever the
Sinnoh's
other
very
kid's name
first
is,
Pokedex.
like their ancestors look exactly like them, coincidentally.
Even in this era,
it's like the whole Link and
wild
Zelda
Pokemon
thing.
can be caught with Pokeballs. You can also engage in Pokemon battles alongside your Pokemon allies. Sharpen your skills for both catching and battling Pokemon, and strive to complete your Pokedex.
Wait, that's it? That's it? Excuse me? Wait. Hold on. That's it? That was the end of the video? That was very... Okay. That was very abrupt. That was... Oh, no, don't do this to me. Hold on. You're gonna get me copyrighted. Why are you showing anime? I don't want to see this. I don't... Alright. Copy. Link location. Alright, this is more like it. Alright. That was scary. Okay, now I have to interact. I just want to go...
1996.
Adventure after receiving a first
Okay,
partner
let's start here,
Pokemon
from
of your own from this professor.
Okay.
With the village as your base, you'll venture out to the different corners of the region on your quest to create Sinnoh's very first Pokedex.
Ah.
Even in this era, wild Pokemon can be caught with Pokeballs.
Oh, that
You
is
can
so much
also
smoother.
engage in Pokemon battles alongside your Pokemon
Now
allies.
that I'm not going in that live premiere syncing thing, now
Sharpen
there's just
your
a video
skills
on
for both
YouTube. It's
catching
much
and
smoother.
battling Pokemon, and strive to complete your Pokedex. Now for the mythical Pokemon that graces the game's title and story, Arceus. According to legend, Arceus shaped all there is in this world. But how is this Pokemon connected to your journey? The answer to this question and more await you in this exciting new action RPG
this
adventure for the Nintendo Switch system.
They're calling it an action RPG, huh? That's interesting. That they're calling it an action RPG.
Pokemon Legends Arceus will launch simultaneously around the world early next year.
Early 2020. Okay, so that was not the end.
We hope you're all excited
And
to
this is
set
the
out on
ending,
these
but-
adventures across the Sinnoh region, each one distinctly different from the other, with the wonderfully nostalgic Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl, as well as the
I mean,
Pokemon
it's nostalgic,
video game
but it's
series'
effectively
new journey,
100% new
Pokemon
content
Legends
to me.
Arceus.
As Pokemon celebrates 25 years, we will continue to challenge ourselves and deliver new ways for everyone to enjoy Pokemon even more.
Yeah, no, it's
Thank you very
like
much
that
for watching.
Pokemon Legends Arceus thing. That makes me feel like they made Pokemon Sword and Shield, just in terms of the presentation and graphics alone, with like a gun to their head by all the other aspects of the Pokemon franchise. That, well, let's look at the trailers again. Let's look at... Let's go do... That's the Pokemon Snap thing. Okay, let's watch the trailers for the DS game. Yeah, Legends looks like something I'd actually... I came in expecting nothing, and I am actually more impressed than I ever would have did. Like, the best case scenario for me would have been a Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remake that wasn't Let's Go based. And while this is not quite as ambitious of a remake in terms of the presentation as I would have hoped for a remake of a DS game and preserving sort of the feel of it, because to remake it in the way that I imagine is almost a bit more of like doing like a borderline FF7 remake style remake where it's almost a total reimagining of the same places. Whereas I think this is good. Plus, I never played Diamond and Pearl anyway, so it's new material for me one way or another. And I was, frankly, if they did do a Diamond and Pearl remake, I would have said like 60% chance it would have been Let's Go based, even though if it was Let's Go based, I would have felt like, for the audience they're trying to get to with Pokemon Go, like the Pokemon Go players who don't play the mainline games, who may have lapsed after the end of the Pokemon Mania craze, and say, like around the end of the Gold and Silver Crystal era, I would have felt that like Let's Go Johto, a theoretical Johto-based Let's Go game would have been more of an obvious sell. But, so, Diamond and Pearl game that is not Let's Go based. Already, I'm like 10 out of 10, better than I expected. I'm ready to go. My wallet is ready. But then when it gets to this is something I wouldn't have... This is the kind of thing that I wouldn't have dreamed of.
When the Sinnoh region was still only a vast wilderness.
And hold on. You gotta rewind a bit. I noticed this before, but I didn't really zoom in on it. Well, I couldn't pause it, but I didn't have time to comment on it. Those are not modern Pokeballs. Those look like they're crafted of stone or ivory or something, and it looks like it has kind of a mechanical switch type latch on instead of a modern button on it. And then there's looks like there's a little button or something on top of the ball as well. So there've been several different depictions throughout the games and the anime and the games of how, like, what an ancient Pokeball would work, and this is a new one. So it's interesting to see that.
A certain village bustled with the comings and goings of people, while in the mountains and seas, Pokemon roamed as they pleased. I mean, even the way it, like, draws in the artwork is kind of like some of those trailers for Breath of the Wild, where it's like, you see the scroll drawing in with, like, the tapestry of, like, you know, the war in ancient times with the Guardians and the Divine Beasts. Like, why couldn't... Like, okay, after this, the next mainline Pokemon game, if it is on the Switch as we know it today, if it's not on a theoretical Switch 2 successor type system, like, this is what, when people say, oh, well, it's when people were criticizing me for criticizing Pokemon Sword and Shield graphics, like, well, what do you expect? It's Pokemon. What else is it going to look like? Here's your answer. This is what now I'm not unreasonable for expecting a higher grade of presentation from Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, and I feel kind of lucky. Like, I lived in the New York City area when Diamond and Pearl was... I mean, when Black and White was out. So I lived in the region those games were based on when those games were out. The people who lived in, like, Hawaii, they lived in the region that region was based on when the games were out. And in both those cases, those games were pretty much maximizing the potential of the systems they were on. Whereas with Sword and Shield, if you're in the UK when Sword and Shield came out, like... Yeah, it's cool to have a game based on your region, but I could very clearly see, like, what they were doing with Sword and Shield was not maximizing the potential of what Switch could do. So if I lived in the UK, if I lived in Great Britain, I would have felt kind of ripped off in that aspect. Of, yeah, my region's in the Pokemon world, but the game is not as impressive as it really should have been. Whereas if you live in Hokkaido, Japan, you got, like, Diamond and Pearl originally, because that was based on Hokkaido. Then you've got the remake, and now you've got this game. Like,
I'm pleased to announce
I don't know,
two
like,
new additions to
that's
the Pokemon
what- see,
video game series.
when I say,
both taking
like
place
I've already
in the
said it,
Sinnoh
but
region.
when I say that Pokemon
First,
Sword and
I'd like
Shield
to present the Pokemon Brilliant Diamond
should
and Pokemon
have
Shining Pearl games.
been more impressive than what
These
it
are
was.
faithful remakes of the Pokemon Diamond version and
This is
Pokemon
what I was
Pearl
talking about.
version
People are
games,
saying, "Oh, you're
which were
being
released
unreasonable."
for
Of
the
course,
Nintendo
this is what
DS
Pokemon's
system
going to
in
look like.
Japan
No,
10
that is
years
what
ago.
Pokemon could look like if they actually give them the proper time to
The Pokemon
to
Brilliant
work on it
Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl
and not have to.
games.
And plus, I think
Remakes
when
of
they
the
were
Pokemon
developing,
Diamond
when they
version and Pokemon
announced
Pearl version
Pokemon
games, which
Sword
were
and
released
Shield.
for the Nintendo DS system,
I'm gonna
are
mute
coming
this.
to
Here's what I'm
Nintendo
gonna do. I'm
Switch.
gonna mute this. I'm gonna skip back to the beginning. I'm just gonna talk over this while I sort of talk about my take on this. Like when okay, Wii U, absolute disaster, worst selling Nintendo home console platform of all time, brings the future up, made GameCube look like a success in comparison. And mind you, at the time GameCube was out there, the discussion about like when Wii U was flopping and is this the end of Nintendo's home consoles? How can Nintendo never make a mistake like this again? GameCube is well regarded now based on the games themselves, but at the time that GameCube was out, a lot of the discussion, even amongst Nintendo fans, was of how can Nintendo learn from the mistakes of GameCube and not have a flop like GameCube for their next generation system. And when Wii U made GameCube, when in the midst of the Wii U era, people were saying Nintendo needs to make a good system like GameCube again, I was like, man, I wanted Wii U to be a success. I love Wii U. I have it right here off screen. I love what it is and what they tried to do, but they did not make the right product for the right time with the features that people cared about, and they did not communicate the benefits and features effectively to the public. And when it gets to so then they I think Switch might be the very first time where a hardware manufacturer had a flop console, a console that flat out flopped, right? With Wii U. They hastily put together a replacement system and rush it to market. And it was kind of desperate in a sense. Them putting, because if Wii U went the way Nintendo meant for it to come to be, we only in the last year or in the year to come would we be expecting a new Nintendo system to replace Wii U. We got a premature successor rushed to market, but they nailed it. And it was actually an unprecedented success for Nintendo. It's outsold 3DS. It's on the track to outselling the Wii. And so, like, when in that first E3, yeah, Nintendo Switch, it had even as early as the early January reveal of the price and release date for the Switch. There were people saying, like, the day of that event, hey, Nintendo, it looks like they're repeating some of their old mistakes. Is this going to be a repeat of the Wii U? Is Switch going to bomb, right? Is Switch going to get spawn killed, pretty much? And the Nintendo put it together. They had a strong launch. Wii U had a strong launch. At the time, like, I forgot the exact numbers. They don't have them handy. But when Switch came out, when Wii U came out, it was actually kind of I think it was outselling the PS3 and 360 their first like week or month sales or something like that. It was actually kind of record-breaking sales for a home console at the time. I know people were saying like, oh, they only sold like they think they did 3 million in the first month or something like that. I don't remember. Or first week. I forgot. And at the time, I don't know the numbers, but at the time, like, Switch sold like millions of units very early on. And people who were ready to criticize Wii U from the outset were like, oh, well, millions sounds impressive, but, you know, they needed to sell in the tens of millions to be a success. And the units that Switch had actually sold at the time were actually better than the initial numbers for 360 and PS3 in that same time period. But they couldn't keep up that momentum, and it ended up being that the Wii U actually underperformed the Dreamcast. Yes, the Wii U outsold the Dreamcast lifetime sales because Nintendo was strong enough to be able to take the hit and keep supporting Wii U. But in the equivalent time period that the systems were on the market, the Wii U actually underperformed the Sega Dreamcast. So I think the Switch might have been the first time that they ever had a console manufacturer had a flopped console and then do a mid-generation replacement system that actually was an unprecedented success. And so that first E3, we have a strong early start for Switch. A lot of people weren't expecting. And so I think Nintendo was really paranoid, like, oh, we've got to make sure that this momentum keeps up. So I think that's why they prematurely announced Metroid Prime 4. And because we haven't heard anything about all we heard about Metroid Prime 4 is that they've canceled the game once and restarted from scratch, probably with a completely different company, because there are rumors that the first build of Metroid Prime 4 is being worked on by Bandai Namco, and now it's being done by Rare. And if you look at, real quick, like, history lesson for, like, the old, like, the Zeppelin company in Germany, they would number their ships. They wouldn't number, like, okay, LZ-1 was their first Zeppelin airship. And then we got to LZ-127, which was the Graf Zeppelin, the famous transatlantic airship liner. And then the next ship after the LZ-127 Graf Zeppelin was LZ-129 Hindenburg. So how'd they go from LZ-127 to LZ-129? Well, there are two ships that they planned and designed, but decided they canceled those and designed the Hindenburg instead, and actually built that one. So if we're going by the Metroid Primes that were planned and developed rather than the numbers released, technically this new game that's being made by Rare, not by Rare, by Retro, would be Metroid Prime 5 instead of Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 being the canceled build being worked by, allegedly, by Bandai Namco. But anyway, so we have an extremely premature release of announcement of Metroid Prime 4. We have an announcement of the next-gen Pokemon game for Switch. And I feel like not only is the Pokemon games, like the actual like Game Freak development teams that make the main Pokemon RPGs, they're already being pressured by the people making the toys and the T-shirts and the anime, that, okay, we need new content to have new Pokemon creatures and a new region and new characters and scenarios to make merchandise and tie-ins based off of. So they're pressured to make a new generation to succeed Sun and Moon based on that. And then they were pressured to announce a new Pokemon, mainline Pokemon RPGs for Switch, because when they announced Pokemon Sun and Moon, for some stupid reason, there were a lot of people who were taking that as a sign from Game Freak that Game Freak was not going to bring the mainline Pokemon games to Nintendo Switch. There are people, like, there was a Forbes article, for instance. I don't have a link to it. I don't know if they deleted it out of embarrassment or just from being an old article. There was a Forbes announcement, an article saying, that Game Freak was refusing to be bold and support Nintendo Switch by putting Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon on the 3DS instead of on Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, okay, obviously Sun and Moon, first off, Ultra Sun and Moon, I bought Sun and Moon. I did not buy Ultra Sun and Moon. I never bought third version games except for technically Black 2 and White 2, but those were more full-fledged sequels than third versions, where it's just a director's cut or a slightly remixed version of the first game. It had a completely unique storyline, not just like, oh, we added a new town with a new little mini quest in it or something like that, like how third versions tend to do. But they were pressured to announce that they were bringing mainline Pokemon to Nintendo Switch because there were rumors and sentiments. I saw people on message boards and on Twitter saying stuff like this, and even articles on sites like Forge saying, oh, Game Freak is refusing to support the Nintendo Switch and they need to drop this 3DS support and move to Switch. I'm like, okay, obviously the long-term future of this franchise is Nintendo Switch. It's not, the people really took Ultra Sun and Moon as a announcement or a declaration that Game Freak would never make a mainline Pokemon game for Switch. So I feel like there are a lot of factors pressuring Game Freak to make a Pokemon game for Nintendo Switch as soon as possible, to make sure that initial strong release of the Switch wasn't just a flash in the pan and there was dying support, because people would be unsure if, are they going to actually bring mainline Pokemon to Nintendo Switch, or are they going to keep putting it out on Nintendo 3DS? And that's another interesting thing, as, going into, I think today, actually, and by the end of from this period today, late February 2021, to late March, we have the rollout period for Nintendo 3DS, which is 10 years old right now. And there are a lot of people who really just declared on behalf of Nintendo that Nintendo Switch coming out on March 3rd, 2017 was a promise to them that they were instantly going to cut all support and manufacturing and development for 3DS. And I remember people getting angry whenever a new 3DS game would be announced, like, oh, 3DS is stealing games from Switch. And it's like, I know there are a lot of perhaps younger people who were never been through a console switchover before. I mean, especially in terms of handhelds, like from Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance, from Game Boy Advance to DS, from DS to 3DS. There was always like about a couple of years overlap between those generations where there was still, and the same thing happened, I remember, with when people being upset that Pokemon Black and White wasn't a 3DS game. And, especially with Black and White 2, oh, this should have been for 3DS. I'm like, yeah, it would have been a very badly up-resed version of a DS game for 3DS, and people saying, oh, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon should have been for Switch. I'm like, yeah, and it would have been a very unimpressive Switch game that would have, I think, undersold the capabilities and potential of Nintendo Switch. So when Sword and Shield was revealed, and not so much when it was first announced, but when it was more like, okay, this is clearly the final look and feel of this game, I was saying, like, this doesn't look that impressive. This looks rather unimpressive, and I'm not blown away by it. Even with the 3D, like, I'm a Nintendo main, right? I haven't bought I had PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. I was younger. I had more spending money. I had to, I was still a teenager. My parents were still doing a lot of my expenses. Wasn't in college yet. Had a lot more time. So I could spend money for 3 games, 3 systems. So I liked what PlayStation, Xbox, and GameCube had to offer. But when it gets to the next generation, I have less money. I'm going to choose the system that has the games and features that I only had it. Well, the point is, most of the games I wanted were on Nintendo, so I stuck with Wii. Then in the next generation, I was more on the go, so I stuck with 3DS more. So basically, I've been getting Nintendo systems, which tend to be the lowest performance systems on the market. So it's not like I'm a huge graphics snob. So when I say, like, hey, these graphics, this presentation on Sword and Shield does not impress me that much, it's not because I want super hyper-realistic, detailed graphics where I can see the fleas in Pikachu's fur. It's because, like, my definition of good graphics is that it depicts the game world and what I'm supposed to believe is happening in the game world to the best extent that the hardware is reasonably capable of. And even on 3DS, there were some times... Oh, am I skipping a lot? What's happening here? What's happening? Okay, it stopped. So even on the 3DS Pokemon games, there were some moments where, okay, that should have taken place on screen. Instead, it cut to black, a text box popped up saying that something happened, then it cuts back to the in-game graphics. Like, they didn't feel like animating a cutscene for it. And I'm like, even in battle, some of the Pokemon moves or something, like, for instance, it's a simple instance. Like, if I have a Zebstrika, and it uses Stomp, and the animation is of a human footprint stomping the other Pokemon, I'm like, that's not depicting what I'm supposed to believe is taking place within the game world. Just little things like that. Or when a character rotates, and they just spin, they turn like they're a character like pivoting on a turntable rather than lifting their legs and just like walking or animating them properly walking around. Like, that's sort of what I'd expect from N64 or PS1 level animation. So I don't want realistic graphics. And I'm like, some of this animation and graphics in Sword and Shield are not impressive to me. And people are like, oh, you're just being a hater. You have unrealistic expectations. Of course this is what Pokemon's going to look like. I'm like, no, like, Game Freak can do better. Switch is capable of better. Look at what you see with Mario Odyssey. Look at Breath of the Wild, which is effectively a Wii U game. And Switch is notably more powerful than Wii U. I mean, just look at the difference between Odyssey and 3D World, for instance. I know to a certain extent that's more like art style. To a certain extent, but Switch is a very capable system. They could have done better than what they did in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I think the time constraints I mean, Game Freak is relatively conservative with their new generation Pokemon games anyway. But even with that in mind, I felt like Game Freak was under unfair pressure to put out a new generation Pokemon game as early on in Switch's lifespan as possible. And Pokemon Sword and Shield, I still stand by it. It's unimpressive to me. And now you can't say that, oh, I'm a troll. Oh, I'm just being a hater or a graphic snob. Because look at what they did. Look at what they're able to do with a Pokemon RPG when they have more time. They don't have the constraints they had to work under for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So that's my take on it. I don't think I'll have to make a separate YouTube video on it. I'll upload this to YouTube. I do have another appointment soon, so I won't have time to edit this. And plus, I'm probably going to have to edit out that time period where the Pokemon anime appeared on screen briefly. Yeah, I don't want to risk putting that up on YouTube and make it look like, oh, I'm trying to pirate the anime, because the autoplayer was on and it jumped into some Pokemon anime thing. I don't even know if the Switch, the VOD on Twitch is gonna... So I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna very quickly edit and export the edited version of this. I'm gonna put it up on YouTube. So that's my first event live stream, live reaction. I enjoyed it very much. I'll see if I could... I heard E3 is going to be a digital event. I'll see if... I don't know. I feel like I'd rather, for the most part, watch it with Pete Dorr, because I like his E3 coverage streams. I miss them. I miss Pete Dorr's coverage of E3, doing the live reaction event, the special event reactions. I miss his coverage more than the actual E3 events themselves, frankly. But maybe just for Nintendo, I'll do my own live stream for it. We'll see what happens, but it depends on how my work life and appointments and stuff will. So let me get on editing this together for a YouTube VOD, and hopefully Pokemon Company, which is known to be a little more wacky, more strict than Nintendo themselves with doing, copyright. I don't want to make. I don't mind if you even make a claim on it where I can't enable ad revenue. I don't enable ad revenue on my videos now anyway. So just let me have the video up. I don't care about, making money off of it. I just want to have the video up. That would be great, but I got to keep moving. So thank you for watching. I will be back on, next Wednesday? Yeah, next Wednesday at noon. I'll be streaming Super Mario 3D World. No, I'll be streaming about a little Nintendo versus Pinball Arcade. Then I'll be a couple hours of Super Mario 3D World, and then an hour of Bowser's Fury, which I'm having a lot of fun with. So that's it for now, and thank you very much for watching.